At the beginning of the film, a colonel named Bento meets a man named Samir, who greets him by calling him a general at the House of Pleasures. Bento corrects him, saying he is still a colonel, but Samir replies that soon he will be a general, perhaps even a warlord. Bento then slides a box towards him, which Samir picks up and opens to find gold biscuits inside. Samir asks about the other offerings, and when Bento gestures toward another large box, Samir says the perfect offering for a night of wisdom, and surely Bento will become a star-studded general soon enough. Next, we see Bento in a room as a woman slowly approaches him, and without a word, he presses the box into her hands. At the same time, the others open the larger box, revealing a boy inside, his hands and mouth tightly bound. The woman grabs Bento's hand and pulls a sharp hairpin from her hair, and without hesitation, she drags it across his skin. She then mixes the blood with oil in a glass, and, raising it to her lips, whispers, "There is nothing more delicious than this." Then, with one slow, deliberate motion, she drinks it all. She then reaches into the box, picks up a gold bar, and inhales deeply, and with a wicked smile, she locks eyes with Bento and eats it. She then takes off her gown and ties a scarf over his eyes, saying, "The power of a commander-in-chief is about to be bestowed upon him." Meanwhile, Samir kills the boy, and his blood rushes through the pipes. The woman pulls a lever, and the blood cascades over her, drenching her completely, and she smears it across her face just as the scene cuts to black.
Like, comment, subscribe to Recapss Horror.
Next, Osman is released after serving 6 years and 10 months of his 12-year murder sentence, reduced for good behavior. His daughter, Mary, comes to pick him up, but he is shocked to see that she is pregnant. As she approaches, he immediately asks, "Who is the father?" Just then, Ibrahim steps out of a taxi and rushes to them. Osman asks again, and Ibrahim says, "I am the father." Later at home, Osman watches TV where Bento is giving a speech as a presidential candidate. Osman explains that in Islam, a girl needs a guardian to marry, and without one, the marriage is void, so the child is illegitimate. Mary says Uncle Reza was her guardian since Osman couldn't attend, but Osman argues he's not a blood relative. She insists Reza is her mother's brother, and the officiant approved it. And when Ibrahim speaks up, Osman snaps at him to stay quiet. Later, Osman dreams of people violently attacking and killing his wife, and he jolts awake, gasping. He comes out of his room, and the photos on the walls reveal that he used to be an army officer. After a while, Ibrahim gets a call from his mother, who tells him his father's condition is worsening and urges him to come immediately. As he hangs up, Mary looks at him and says gently, "He should sort things out with your father first." After he leaves, Osman asks, "What's wrong with his father?" And she replies that he has been ill for a while, but she believes his condition is now critical. She adds that his father is a criminal, just like you, but Osman clarifies that he only punished her mother's murderer and has already served time in prison for it. Ibrahim asks, "What did the doctor say?" And his mother replies that none of his organs are functioning anymore, and that there is nothing more they can do. She adds that they suggested taking him home, as it is becoming too expensive to keep him in the hospital. Meanwhile, Mary begins experiencing severe stomach pains and tells Osman that she is having contractions. He asks if she needs a C-section, but she says she doesn't want one because it's expensive, and they don't have the money. Just then, the phone rings. Osman answers and hears Tony on the other end, surprised that no one informed him he had been released. Tony asks if he needs money, and when Osman inquires about a job, Tony explains the target, Nai, a concubine. He says her identity doesn't matter. The important part is that, according to his information, there is a large amount of gold and jewelry inside the house, around 100 kilograms. Tony adds that he wants the other 3 members of his team involved as well, emphasizing that the job comes directly from the top and must be done tomorrow night, or they'll have to wait another month. Mary asks, "Another housebreaking job?" And Osman reassures her, saying it will be fine, and that they will get the money needed for the C-section. That night, Ibrahim visits a house, following his mother's instructions to retrieve a box belonging to his father, who cannot die until he passes on his mystical heirloom. Ibrahim's eyes fall on a dagger on the table. He cautiously reaches for it, but suddenly, a body crashes before him, making his heart leap. And when he looks again, there's no one, only a box resting there. He remembers his mother's words. It will protect him from danger caused by humans, or something else. He brings the box home, where he accepts the heirloom and his father's legacy as his only son. Just then, the phone rings, and when his mother answers, she is informed that her husband has passed away peacefully. Meanwhile, Osman gathers his team, Salman and Riza, and confronts Reza for acting as his daughter's guardian, to which Riza says Ibrahim is a good kid. Osman then says one more person is joining them, and Riza asks if it's Surya, excitedly saying he's missed him and praising his powerful shamanic skills. They then visit Surya's house, where it is revealed that he was Ibrahim's father. Ibrahim explains that his late father had already told him and his mother about their team and the kind of work they do. Osman asks if that doesn't bother him, but Ibrahim replies that he has no choice but to accept it, given their situation. Osman then asks how he knows Mary, and Ibrahim explains that when Osman was in prison, his father asked him to look after his family, and that was how he met Mary. He says he felt she needed someone to protect her, and over time, their relationship grew deeper. Osman then asks if Mary knows all of this, and Ibrahim shakes his head. Ibrahim replaces his father in the team, and Osman tells them not to use their real names from now on, saying they can call him Otto. Salman will be Saad, Riza will be Farsi, and Ibrahim will be Surya. When they arrive at the house, Osman explains that they will enter, find the gold, and get out, while Surya takes on his father's role, staying outside, keeping watch, and using his shamanic skills to hypnotize anyone inside if needed. Surya admits he has never actually practiced those shamanic skills and doesn't know how to use them. Saad reminds him that he claimed he was ready, but Surya clarifies that he meant ready to be the driver, as that was his father's job. Otto tells him that his father's role was much greater. He was their protector, shielding them not only from people outside but also from spirits. Farsi asks what they should do now, and Surya pulls out a book, suggesting the answers might be written inside. He places a dagger on the dashboard, prompting Osman to remark that his father never did anything like that. Saad says it doesn't matter as long as someone is guarding them, and then instructs Surya that if he notices any threat approaching, he should honk 3 times. After this, they enter the house and split up to search the place, but as they move around, a chair is seen rocking on its own. Meanwhile, Surya notices an old woman dancing in the distance, and as he watches, she gradually moves closer. Suddenly, she appears inside his car, prompting him to quickly jump out and slam the door shut. But when he looks inside, no one is there, and when he goes back in to retrieve his dagger, he is shocked to find it broken. Inside, Saad enters a room and finds a girl restrained on a bed. He checks on her and tries to untie her hands, when suddenly a masked man starts singing, startling him. The man lifts his mask, revealing himself as Samir, and approaches Saad, greeting him as a mighty king. Saad asks if he's drunk, but Samir replies, "Isn't this the perfect meal for a king?" A blooming flower at the peak of her virginity. Saad protests, saying she is just a child, but Samir mocks him, saying 70 years old and still a child. He then suddenly attacks, but Saad dodges, and a fierce fight breaks out between them. Meanwhile, Surya discovers several wooden blocks outside the house with amulets attached to them, and as he touches one, he receives an electric shock. Stunned, he gets up, only to be horrified by the sight of countless pochongs inside and surrounding the house. Terrified, he quickly pulls the book from his pocket, raises the dagger, and begins reciting something while holding it forward, but suddenly, he feels nauseous, and when he looks up, the pochongs have vanished. Surya immediately gets into his car and is about to leave, but he remembers his promise to Mary that they will look after each other. He blasts his car horn non-stop to warn the 3, but his vehicle is surrounded by invisible pochongs, and even the sound of his horn is eerily muted. Surya cautiously steps into the house, while Farsi is inside a children's room, where he picks up a toy and asks, "Do you know where the gold is?" But just then, a child's laughter echoes as a ball rolls out from under the bed. Curious, Farsi bends down to check and sees no one there. But a ghost appears, then vanishes just as suddenly. He manages to come out and walks down a hallway, lined with photos of a woman alongside various high-ranking army generals. Just then, Surya arrives, but as he moves toward him, he sees 2 legs resting on Farsi's shoulders. Surya doesn't hesitate, grabs a cloth, and strikes Farsi's shoulders, causing the legs to vanish, and Farsi feels a sudden lightness. Surya asks urgently, "Where are Otto and Saud?" And the scene cuts to Otto, alone in a room, drinking. Saud brings Samir into the room and throws him to the floor, telling Otto that he found this pedophile who had been trying to abuse an underage girl. But Otto says, "We came here to find the gold, not an old man with a fetish." Saud hits Samir and asks, "Where is the gold?" But Samir just laughs, mocking them. "You're so cute." Saud strikes him once more, and Samir snaps back. "Stupid goons, breaking into the wrong house at the wrong time." He warns them that they all will face a misfortune far scarier than death. At that moment, Surya and Farsi arrive, and Otto asks Samir, "Where is the lady?" Samir asks, "What lady?" And Osman snaps, "The concubine," Samir says. "She is asleep, and for 3 days and 3 nights. No one must disturb her, or she will be enraged." Otto then turns towards a painting and says it has a very unique pattern. He studies it carefully, and his attention is drawn to a hidden button. He presses it, causing the painting to slide aside to reveal a secret chamber. And Otto asks, "Could she be sleeping in there?" Suddenly, Samir picks up a machete and lunges at Otto, and when others try to stop him, he attacks them all, injuring them. Saud fires his gun, forcing Samir to retreat, and he escapes, leaving the group shaken but alive. They then descend into the basement, and seeing the gold, Farsi says, "That's what they're looking for." But Otto shushes him sharply. As they scan the room, they freeze in horror at the sight of the woman sleeping in a giant tub. Otto mutters, "This world is strange indeed," and then instructs them to grab the gold. As Saud and Farsi head to retrieve the gold, Otto confronts Surya about being there, and Surya says something feels wrong about this place. But Otto insists it's his duty to protect them, like his father before him. When Surya says he'll go back to the car, Otto stops him and orders him to get the gold. The 4 of them start filling the gold in their bag. But during this time, Samir wipes up their blood from the floor and starts performing some ritual. Meanwhile, Surya notices something draped in a red cloth, and Samir burns the cloth stained with their blood, releasing an energy ball that shoots toward the basement. The 4 of them gather the gold and leaves when the woman suddenly awakens. As they prepare to leave the house, Saud tells Otto to wait, insisting he go back for the girl, but Otto protests, saying they came only for the gold, not her. As they head toward the door, Saud hands Farsi his bag and heads back to retrieve the girl. Otto tells Surya to take his bag to the car, but then, turning to him, he instructs Surya to find an officiant and legally remarry his daughter. Meanwhile, Saud realizes the girl is no longer in the room. Otto asks where she is, and Saud explains that she had been there, her face covered in stitches and her hands chained. Otto responds that the girl is gone, and now they need to get out of there immediately. Meanwhile, Surya tells Farsi he's going back to get them and asks him to stay in the car. As Surya steps out and heads inside, a sudden surge of greed seizes Farsi, and he schemes to take all the gold and make a run for it. But the moment he slides into the driver's seat, he is shocked to see that there is no steering wheel there. Farsi creeps back into the house, only to scream when Surya suddenly clamps a hand on his shoulder. He snaps, "You could have given me a heart attack." But Surya asks him to be quiet. Surya cautiously moves forward, following the sound, when Saud suddenly points a gun at him and tells Otto, "I almost shot your son-in-law." Suddenly, bone-chilling screams echo through the house, and Otto suggests leaving the place. But at that exact moment, the power cuts out. Otto flicks on his flashlight and scans the shadows, only to see a woman standing in the hallway. Her body twists and contorts in ways that defy nature, Saad fires at her, and she vanishes like smoke. But before they can move, a massive snake slithers toward them. Saad reacts instantly, shooting it, but the woman appears right beside Surya, and he screams in terror, sending everyone sprinting in panic, only to realize with horror that they've returned to the same spot. They run away from there once again, and this time they come out of the basement and into that room, where the woman is sitting on a chair. She says there are uninvited guests and asks, where do they think they are taking her precious gold? Saud fires at the woman, but she appears right behind him, and, startled, he unloads round after round. He says, she's dead, and let's get out of here, but is shocked to see her calmly sitting on the couch. She hisses, it's an honor to be visited by the kings this evening, all except you, Ibrahim. You are no king, and you don't belong among them. Saud fires again, but she vanishes and strikes with inhuman force, knocking him down. She then plants her foot on his chest, crushing the air out of him, but Otto fires desperately. She whispers, patience, you're next, and then she seizes Saud by the hair and yanks him upright, and slits his throat in one swift motion. She then lifts his severed head, and before their eyes, she drinks his blood. The others bolt in terror, but the window they entered through has turned into a solid wall. Suddenly, they hear a noise, and without hesitation, they run and squeeze into a closet. Soon after, they freeze, seeing a half-human, half-snake searching for them, and Otto warns Ferris to hold his breath as she can smell them. They stay silent until she slithers away, and Ferris exhales in relief, only to realize that Otto is gone, leaving him alone. He rushes into a room and confronts Otto, asking, what kind of place is this? And Otto admits he doesn't know either, only that it once belonged to a concubine. Ferris insists that they're nothing but bait, saying she isn't human at all, but a demon. Meanwhile, the woman's voice echoes through the halls, calling Ibrahim's name. Trembling, he shuts his eyes, and when he opens them, she's gone, but a pochon appears beside him. Panicking, he frantically reads from the book, and the creature vanishes. He exhales in relief again, but cold hands grab him from behind, and Mary jolts awake. She calls Ibrahim's taxi company to ask for his current location, but the person informs her that Ibrahim didn't come to work that night. Mary quickly rubs the pencil over the nearby notebook's page and reveals the address of the house. Meanwhile, the woman enters a room, and Riza is seen hiding under the bed. She says she can smell him and asks, does he think he can just break into her house, take her gold, and leave? Suddenly, she bends down, and Reza apologizes, calling her auntie. She asks if he just called her auntie, and he says, I mean sister. Angered, the woman storms off. But Reza's horror grows as he sees a snake crawling toward him. The snake suddenly grabs his head, drags him out from under the bed, and then releases him. The woman then seizes him by the hair, drags him out of the room, and slams the door shut behind them. After a moment, Osman emerges from the box, only to be struck by a violent surge coursing through his body, and when he collapses to his knees, Samer is revealed standing ominously behind him. Meanwhile, Ibrahim finds himself on a seaside, where the woman greets him with a chilling good morning. Trembling, he asks what she wants, and she leans closer, telling him that his scent is intoxicating, unlike the others. She then kisses him, and in the next instant, her massive tail coils around him, trapping him completely. Heart pounding, he struggles. But then he wakes up and finds himself back in the house. He finds a girl there and asks if she's okay, to which she says that they killed her family, kidnapped her, and she is abused wherever she goes. He tells her to stay calm, saying she can come with him and he will look after her. But she says that's what everyone says, but no one keeps their promise. She then takes off her wig, shocking Ibrahim, and the boy reveals that it was he who set up 4 individuals who were born on the mystical Friday to break into this place so he can kill the lady. In a flashback, Tony calls Samir, telling him that it's time for their general to rise to a higher position. However, on the other end of the line, the boy speaking in Samir's voice instructs Tony to bring in 4 individuals born on the mystical Friday. Ibrahim asks if all of this was his doing, and the boy replies that the lady is using him. He explains that the mystical Friday is the day when late kings are reincarnated, and their blood isn't meant to kill the lady, but to grant her eternal youth forever. Ibrahim tells him that he wasn't born on the mystical Friday, and the boy says, "It was a twist of fate, and he wasn't meant to be there." Then the boy grabs a pencil and stabs it into his eye, startling Ibrahim, but he feels no pain and begins to laugh. He then tells Ibrahim that if he wants to kill the lady, he must take him with him and place him inside the circle. Ibrahim takes the boy down to the basement and lays him in the large tub. Suddenly, a voice calls to him, and he notices it's coming from behind the red cloth. Curious, he cautiously approaches and slowly pulls the cloth away, revealing an old woman sitting there. Ibrahim asks, "Who are you?" And the woman responds that she is the real Nai and that the other woman betrayed her, the same way that the child wants to betray her. Meanwhile, the woman tells Samer to start with their legs, then their hands, and finally their necks. Reza screams in terror, begging for his life, and during this, Osman quietly works to unlock his handcuffs. Samir cruelly cuts off one of Reza's legs, and the woman and Samer watch him, enjoying every moment of his suffering. Without stopping, Samer then cuts off one of Reza's hands, and as Reza's cries echo through the space, Samer chops off Reza's neck, ending his life. The Nai tells Ibrahim, "Her power is not as strong as mine, so she needs my blood to live forever, and that sacrificial blood flows through my own blood to be finally consumed by her." Meanwhile, Osman fires at the woman and then quickly shoots Samir before fleeing. Samir collapses to the ground, dead, and the woman lets out a furious roar. The Nai asks Ibrahim to pull the lever, and at the same time, the boy rises to his feet. Hesitant but compelled, Ibrahim pulls the lever, and a torrent of blood gushes out, pouring directly over the boy. Meanwhile, the woman rages through the house, searching for Osman, and Osman hides in a room, hoping to stay unseen. But suddenly she grabs him, breaking the wall, and plunges her other hand into his belly, pushing it through. She then enters the room, laughing, as Osman collapses to the floor, gasping for breath. He raises his gun to shoot, but she strikes it out of his hand. She leans close, her voice cold and mocking. "You always thought your wife is in heaven? Let's see if you're right." She then moves closer to strike again, but Osman attacks her, swinging again and again at her neck. And finally, with one powerful blow, he severs her head from her body. Shaking and exhausted, he places her head on the bed and leaves the room, but he can't go far. Overwhelmed, he collapses to the floor and sits there, his body trembling. Just then, Osman sees his wife approaching, and she sits in front of him. Overwhelmed, he apologizes to her, and she hugs him tightly, making him break down in tears. But suddenly, horror strikes when he realizes it isn't his wife, but the woman, and in a terrifying motion, she thrusts her fingers into his face, and Osman dies in unbearable agony. Meanwhile, Mary arrives at the address and tells the driver to wait, mentioning that her husband is also a cab driver. As she heads towards the house, the driver suddenly spots a pochong nearby, and he speeds away from the place as fast as he can. Nyai orders Ibrahim to give his blood, the blood of the mystical Black Saturday, the incarnation of the High Priest. She hurls him across the room, cracking his head open and bleeding. The blood drips into the tub, covering the boy below, and Nyai then commands Zio, the chosen one, to arise. From the tub, a demonic creature begins to emerge, pushing its way out from a placenta-like substance. Nyai says she can smell an unborn child, and at that moment, Mary enters the house through a window. She searches desperately for Ibrahim, and the scene shifts to the basement. The woman calls out to Zio, calling him her child and praising his beauty, but Zio suddenly grabs her by the neck, and Nyai warns that this is beyond her shamanic power. The woman pleads, claiming she is his mother, and Zio coldly replies that then she should give her body and soul to him. She orders him to let her go, but Zio tightens his grip, causing her face to darken, and with one final surge of strength, Zio kills her, ending her life. Just then, Mary arrives, searching for Ibrahim, but she freezes in terror when she sees Zio. Ibrahim rushes to her side, while Nyai says if Zio succeeds in consuming a newborn baby tonight, he will become complete and eternal. Zio takes control of Osman's body, and seeing her father, Mary rushes toward him. Ibrahim tells her that it's not her dad, but she ignores him, insisting it's really her father, and pushes forward. Zio hurls Ibrahim aside with inhuman strength and then seizes Mary by the neck. Ibrahim leaps to intervene, but Zio grabs him as well, lifting him into the air. Mary cries out, reminding him that she is his daughter, causing Osman to struggle within, fighting Zio's control, and finally manages to release Mary. He then lets go of Ibrahim as well, who pushes Osman back, grabs Mary, and quickly escapes from the terrifying scene. They hide in a room where Mary's water breaks, and Ibrahim takes her into the bathroom, where he tells her that she has to get into the bathtub. He makes her lie down in the bathtub and asks her to trust him. As Mary attempts to give birth, Nyai says, "This is no ordinary child, born of Ibrahim's bloodline, blessed with his spirit guardian's power, on a mystical Saturday." Mary finally gives birth to the child, and Ibrahim wraps the baby in a towel, assuring him that he is safe. But just then, Zio breaks open the door, and he begins approaching them. Ibrahim confronts him, but Zio grabs him by the neck and lifts him in the air before hurling him aside. Zio then moves towards the child, and as Ibrahim rushes to stop him, Zio stabs his hand in his belly and then throws him out of the bathroom. Ibrahim refuses to give up and struggles to his feet, but Zio's power seizes him, strangling him and lifting him high into the air. Ibrahim pleads desperately, begging Zio not to harm his child, but Zio snatches the child from Mary and hurls her aside, knocking her unconscious. Ibrahim watches in horror, completely helpless, as Zio lifts the child and swallows him alive, leaving Ibrahim frozen in shock and despair. Nyai declares that the baby is too powerful for the one-eyed creature, especially since it is the child of Maryam, and its name is Messiah. Instantly, Zio vomits the baby out, screaming in pain as his body ignites from within, and then he explodes. Ibrahim and Mary step out of the house with their baby, and he retrieves the steering wheel from the trunk. As he gets into the car, she asks about the bag, and he replies, "It's Dad's bag." When she asks what's inside, he simply says, "Let's just go home." The next day, Tony visits the house, where Nye asks, "Which mystical day were you born on?" And before he can respond, she grips him with immense power, and he explodes instantly. Next, Nyai emerges, now young and strikingly beautiful. She scatters flower petals in the house, revealing a demon symbol glows on her hand. She smiles mysteriously, and with that haunting image, the movie comes to an end.